So to start off, I did my first question was going to be about how the show came about. I'm a huge Gremlins fan, and when I saw the first teaser and the first teaser photo for just the title, I got extremely excited. So I wanted to ask Z what led to the creation of it, what was inspiration, and Brendan, what also brought you into the project and all of this?
First off, Kate, I just want to say I'm a big fan and I appreciate all your support over the years.
Oh,
It's really nice to
you.
meet you in person finally.
Yes, no, I didn't know if I should
Zoom.
lead with that because I
Yeah.
have loved what you have done with TKO.
Oh, thank you.
That was so cool.
Thank you. I think that the conversations between Amblin and Warner Brothers were always about how to do a prequel series with Mr. Wing. And, when I came in, my take on it was, I had been inspired by not just Gremlins, but like so many of those Amblin movies, which are, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Goonies, about kids kind of in adult situations that are life and death and scary, and wanting to do this prequel series as almost like the whole first season being like a long epic movie with like action, adventure, scares, and comedy. And really telling the origin story of how that friendship started between Mr. Wing and Gizmo and all the adventures that they went on. And I found a great partner in Brendan, who is this incredible Gremlins super fan. From our very first conversation, it was clear that, I wanted him to work on this show with me, and with Dan Crawl, our supervising producer, was also there from day one.
Yeah, it was just, this was a fandom dream come true. As soon as I heard from a Warner Brothers exec who I was catching up with that they were even considering doing Amblin stuff, I was just like, Gremlins, if it's Gremlins, I want Gremlins. Yes. And I approached Z in a similarly rabid fashion when we met. But I was so excited. And as soon as Z told me kind of like what he was thinking about, and especially the fourth rule stuff and all that, I'm like, oh my God, this is just on a fan front. I want to watch this. To get to be a part of it, all the better.
And what does it feel like? Because Gremlins, I mean, it's generations of fans. Parents have passed it on to their kids. Those kids are now passing it on to their kids. What's it like to be a part of the legacy of Gremlins now?
I mean, it's really crazy to me. Kate, you know this about us. Like we're like fan people first, and then writers second. And so that was really what was so great about working with these writers, this cast, this crew, is like everybody on the show is a huge Gremlins fan. And so we were kind of like making the show that we would have always wanted to have had, whether it was when we were kids or now as adults. And so we're really hoping the show is something the whole family can watch together, and something that existing fans of the original Gremlins movies can just fall in love with all over again, but also bring in new fans. And you can, as a parent or, introduce your kids to something that will also traumatize them immensely. And
that's
exactly
give them nightmares for the rest of their lives.
That's the goal. If we can, that's exactly it. If any of the kids who watch have nightmares, but also can't wait to watch the next episode, we have succeeded.
And what is it like when you were writing or when you were working on the production of the show? Did you all ever think about the fact that you're going to be people's first Gremlins memory? Like,
I had not really thought about that until you said it, and now I'm terrified. So thank you. 2 weeks before premiere, I'm glad that you put that thought in my head.
I think it's cool. I mean, I think anything that gets people, I mean, not that they need any help being sought out because they're still so beloved, but anything that gets somebody to pick up the original Gremlins or Gremlins 2 for the first time, cool. Whether it's us or the Key and Peele sketch, whatever it takes, I'm happy just to be part of it all.
And if you had to kind of sum up like what you want people to take away from it, like once they've watched that last episode, or even after they've watched the first episode, when those credits roll for the first or last time, what do you want people to feel, and what do you want them to kind of experience?
I think one of the things that we were really thankful for was, our Amblin and Warner Brothers and Max and Joe Dante and Spielberg, they always wanted us to push everything, meaning like make the emotions deeper, make the friendship hit harder. And, we just feel very lucky that we were really driven towards making this like a really emotional experience, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like I felt that the conversations that we had in the writers' room was really like, what is it like when you start a friendship for the first time? Like, what are the obstacles that you have to overcome, both whether they're external or, you know, just from your own personalities? And we felt really glad to have this core cast, which are incredible actors, to just play out these situations where, you know, I think at the end of the day, when you come away from this first season, I would just love for people to say, wow, I watched like a friendship develop, and a friendship that I know is going to be there, you know, decades later in the original Gremlins movies.
Yeah. I think also I'm hoping, because we had 10 episodes, that we got to show, this is such a strange thing to say, the other side of Gremlins, of evil Mogwai, that they have their own wants and desires. And granted, the main want they have is still caca and chaos, but there's other wants beyond that. And yeah, that, you know, maybe people view them as a little more as their own fun creatures and not just agents of chaos.
And do y'all have characters that you all really see yourselves in, or maybe you think young you should have had in the cast?
I mean, I think that, you know, it was so when I was growing up, you know, and we've over the last year especially, you know, we've had so many conversations about like representation and what it means, and especially at a young age when, you know, I was watching, you know, something like seeing like Short Round or Data from Goonies for the first time, and Mr. Wing, like it was so gratifying to see that type of representation. You always just think like, well, what's their deal? You know, what are they all about? And to be able to actually unwind that in this series and this Mr. Wing, that was always like really interesting to me. And being able to be the one to like generate that story and backstory was really gratifying.
He's got a better answer than I would ever have there. So yeah.
I think my final question is just going to be about, if somebody watches the show and really wants to start getting involved in Gremlins, and whether it's movies or fan projects, just anything that is out there in the Gremlins world, where would you recommend they go next?
I would certainly not say no to fan art, because Gizmo's so cute. And
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the crew would have art parties where they would just draw like Gizmo in different, you know, adorable situations. He's a real icon. He's a legend.
Yeah, there's again, exactly. He's timeless for a reason. I also create your own gremlin, and not just in the sense of like draw your own gremlin, but it's also like, what is your unique, like we have obviously, you know, there's the Flasher gremlin, there's, you know, your Mugger gremlin from the original film, like we have all of our I don't want to give spoilers, but all of our gremlins that come across through our season. So me and my kids actually, because after they watched some of the episodes and kind of got into it, started doing the like, what are gremlins you want to see? And it's like, what gremlins do you want to see wearing what clothing, or like weird affectation or thing that's slightly strange about them? So like create your own gremlin all the way. Also, let's be honest, we all just want people to make their own homemade stuffed gizmos.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I had a Furby for the reason that it was the closest I could get to Gizmo, and then it creeped me out too much, and I was like, you don't have the cuteness that Gizmo had, you just have the scariness.
There's no soul in those eyes. Gizmo's got soul.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for your time today. It was really great getting to talk with you, and I can't wait for everybody to see the show.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kate. It was great talking with you.
Yeah.